Hey, what's up? I'm Messmer, aka the Snake God, aka the Impaler. But before I became this legendary boss tier badass, I was just a regular kid, which is a lot harder than it sounds. Back then, I lived in this enormous castle that was more like a prison, locked away in a dark room, no friends around, just cold old Mama Marika and a bunch of snakes slithering at my feet. From day one, I knew I wasn't like the others. My hair blazed bright red like wildfire in the dark, and inside me, something twisted and curled, making these creepy noises in my chest. Every night, my mom would hold me tight and whisper,
"Keep that light inside you safe. Don't let it burn everything down."
Mom took out my right eye and replaced it with some cold, glowing charm.
"This is better for you, and for everyone else."
From that moment on, I couldn't see the world with both eyes anymore.
Messmer, listen up.
Yeah, you heard me right. I've got a serpent pet living inside me. One night, it felt like someone grabbed my heart, blood heating up fast, and the serpent inside me coiled with satisfaction. It whispered in my head,
"We're one. You're not alone."
Honestly, I've wanted to split from it for a long time. Sometimes that snake got so strong, I almost believed it had shed its skin and slither out into the real world. Looking in the mirror, I saw two halves of me, half human, half serpent, half wanting to break free, half wanting to hide away. So, which would you choose, light or darkness? Every time I walked past the halls lined with portraits of all the legendary Marika family, radiant, accomplished, unreal. Ever felt alienated, even by your own family? At dinner, I always got my own separate plate, while Mom would sneak peeks, like she was worried I might suddenly turn into a giant snake and go full attack mode at the table. As for my siblings, don't even. Morgott gave me the "you're garbage" glare.
"Hey, Snake, when you drop dead, tell me so I can BBQ.
I told him straight up, I don't mess with fire. So yeah, I grew up stuck between two worlds on one side, all that power and legacy. On the other, a long shadow of loneliness and permanent side eyes. So the day Mom said,
"From tomorrow, don't show your face in public anymore,"
I honestly breathed a sigh of relief. Sometimes hiding just fits better. If you're not made for the spotlight, maybe you're right at home in the shadows. Nobody was gonna let me out, so I turned the library into my own damn kingdom. From strategy guides and spell manuals to mastering fire control, which is a lot harder than it sounds. Sometimes I wondered, was this fire inside me gonna burn me into ash or help me do something epic? But hey, one thing at a time. Gotta finish this text. After way too many days locked inside, I finally got the green light to go out. A precious 30-minute walk, always with a fire knight chaperone. But that day on the training grounds, game changer. There's Rolana, glowing like a moon goddess, practicing sword swings with her pretty boy crew. I was feeling lit, so I grabbed my spear, took a deep breath, and let loose with a fire blast, only to scorch a chunk of Rolana's hair. My snake squad wanted to meld into the ground from secondhand embarrassment. Gaius, though, he just slapped my back and said my entrance was legendary. Me? I wanted to dig a hole and crawl into it. But Rolana just laughed and called out, "Next time, let's fire dance together." That's when I realized, stepping out from the shadows doesn't mean you leave your loneliness behind. The peaceful days slipped by as fast as a snake slithering through grass. Out of nowhere, Mom calls me up.
"Messmer, it's time. You're leading a crusade that'll shake history."
I was like, wait Mom, I haven't even mastered fire spells yet. But hey, fate had already stamped its mark, and I had a squad hyped up. Rolana, Gaius, and the whole Fire Knight crew. The night before we rolled out, I stood in front of the troops, trying to look all brave and bold. Tonight isn't just a march, it's the making of legends. Whoever dares to drop fire gets a grilled snake cake from me tomorrow. The squad burst out laughing, and some nervous rookie whispered, "Boss, don't forget the fire extinguisher." I chuckled inside, thinking, legend? What legend has so many fires? By the campfire, I whispered to the snake on my shoulder, "Let's not start any new scandals tomorrow, all right?" The snake nodded like it was down. Everyone was fired up, but my stomach was doing flips. If you've ever led a team, imagine having to carry fire and explosion insurance for your crew. Trust me, nobody knows that pressure like me. Messmer, me, my crew of fire knights, and Relana were throwing spears, swinging swords, and setting everything ablaze from here to there. One fiery blast and the civilians were screaming, while my teammates kept yelling, "Lord Messmer, next time, can we borrow some protective gear?" I just gave them a side eye, and the snake on my shoulder shook its head like, "Chill, it's just a little fire." Sometimes I'd stand atop the blazing bell tower, red hair whipping in the wind, and mutter, "I am Messmer, the BBQ fire saint, here to roast and toast." But winning made me realize something. The smell of burning flesh ain't as sweet as I thought. The cries and screams of the city choked me up, not because my fire was weak, but because my heart felt just a little singed for the first time. Thought being the BBQ king was the hardest part? Nah, the real pain came next. The fire I sparked in Hornsent ended up burning those closest to me. My squad started whispering, "Is Messmer even human anymore, or has he really turned into a snake?" The old soldiers, who were once my biggest fans, gradually went into defense mode, throwing suspicious glances my way at every meal. One night, in the Grand Hall of Shadowkeep, Gaius, my once best bud, leaned in and asked, "You hiding something from us, boss?" Caught off guard, I could only chuckle. Nothing but fire and a few childhood secrets. Actually, only I knew the biggest secret, that the snake inside me was taking over more and more. Ironically, the more isolated I felt, the more attached I became to that weird shadow. The only thing still connecting me to my sadness. I caught the suspicious gleam in Relana's eyes, part regret, part pity. Andreas, Hugh, old comrades had grown distant, conversations thinning out, greetings cut short. The once vibrant castle suddenly felt like a cold glass cage where I swapped roles, from a powerful fire deity to an honorary prisoner, stigmatized and ready to face any punishment for just being different. I stood before daring for the first time to look straight into my own eyes, one glowing golden like Mom's, the other shadowed pitch black, the serpent's side. I peeled off the seal, feeling the snake coil, desperate to break free, its silent scream echoing inside my mind. I screamed Mom's name, pain and anger mixing together, half forgiveness, half curse, and then let loose a wildfire that engulfed the whole room. From now on, Messmer won't be hiding anymore. There was no one left to turn to. So I told myself, life is only worth living when you let yourself choose. For the first time in hundreds of years, I felt alive as my real self, even if that meant walking straight into a sky ready to burn. Marika's statue cracked, turning to ash in a flash. I stood up, flames still dancing on my palms, chin lifted high. The scariest moment is when you finally realize your true power. And for me, Messmer, that moment came when I hit full power. I wasn't just some legendary red snake of fear anymore. I became the real deal, a fire god who could burn down castles and fortresses with just a snap of my fingers. The tragic part? That limit break didn't just destroy my enemies.
Hello there.
It tore down every last thread of closeness with my teammates. The Fire Knights, once loud and proud when shouting my name, now scattered like cats scared of water whenever they caught a glimpse of Messmer. Even Relana grew distant, no longer teasing with that familiar sparkle in her eye. And if she did, it was like getting struck by lightning. Except the lightning hit the nearest power grid. But that explosive glory, man, it's indescribable. Like finally breathing fire freely. Like growing up for the first time without needing anyone's permission. I strode through Shadowkeep, walls cracking at my touch, the serpent swirling around me in flames. Maybe it's time I start writing my own crazy legend. Part bad boy, part hot boy. Who's brave enough to step up? Freedom, the thing everyone craves, turns out to be the most expensive when the price is losing all the people you once had by your side. I, Messmer the Impaler, once dreamed of being a living legend. But turns out, being a legend means you end up playing solo in the corner of the world. At night, I sit by my spear, looking up at the city still burning red, where the laughter of old days has faded into the ashes of war. I remember the fire knights who grew up with me, trained beside me, fought alongside me, now scattered, some buried under thick layers of dust, others fading into blurry memories locked deep in my chest. Sometimes I get so blue I break into monologue. Why did Impaler sound so cool back then? And now I'm just here picking snake scales alone. I burst out laughing, even though inside it's as bitter as sulfur-laced tea. But deep inside, through all the doubts and regrets, the fire in me still burns relentlessly. Maybe I'm not a hero, certainly not a full-on villain. I'm simply Messmer, born to blaze fiercely and be lonely. Everyone faces their day of reckoning, whether they're a hot boy, serpent god, or just a soul sealed away in legend. I stand atop Shadow Keep, watching the Tarnished approach like a storm rolling in, knowing there's no place left to retreat. I recall a lifetime torn between choices, half yearning for recognition, half ready to shoulder the world's anger. My hands still shake, seriously, but the fire in my veins burns hotter than ever. Memories of pain, love, and loss flood in a blink, like a fire blazing before a raging storm. I laugh bitterly and think, not everyone's born a hero, but if fate casts you as the villain, be a legendary one. Burn bright until there's nothing left but legend. Behind me, the snake on my shoulder clenches its teeth, while ahead lies a challenger, a new legend to face. I take a deep breath and charge like a red flame into my destiny, knowing I may fall, but I'll live every final second fully. So here it is, the final word on a serpent god's life. If life's for getting hated, then make the world remember Messmer, the blazing one, both hilarious and immortal in the hearts of those who once loved him.